The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we've got the S&P up 13, Dow's up 225, NASDAQ's up 20, almost 21, and the Russell is up 5.39 or 0.3%. Volume is kind of tracking about what it did yesterday, so we're not going to have a big volume day, but probably not a big surprise to anybody. We have some extremely scary charts. At least one that is one of the most bearish signals that we've seen in a while, along with a light volume and a lot of the risk taking being pushed into the market. We could see kind of a quick, the air come out of the market fairly quickly. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about that today. I would say a brittle market is the way to say this. It's you can't ever say when a market's going to go higher or lower with 100% certitude. You can tell when there are warm waters in the Gulf and storms coming up off the Horn of Africa, and you can kind of see a lot of that stuff coming. It may go to South America, it may go to Central America or even Mexico. May not hit me here in Florida, but you kind of know that they're coming and you can see it. The danger signs are there. You know, come mid-December, hey, when's the last time you saw a hurricane in mid-December? Doesn't happen very often, occasionally, but in a rare blue moon. What I'm saying is that the warm water is certainly there. There is a storm set up off the, probably actually about halfway here across the Atlantic. And while I cannot promise you it will hit, I can promise you that if it does hit, there will be some fairly large damage to the market. So what else do we have going? Well, that's kind of about it right now. It's been kind of a quiet, slow market moving higher. Doesn't instantly mean the wheels will fall off the wagon, but there are a lot of stocks that are starting to roll already that went and tried to push previous highs this morning and have already rolled back. I've got one that's already done that. I'm thinking you've got some real potential weaknesses, and then we'll talk about what options are telling us already. Let's get into a little history, and then we'll get into some charts.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1944, the term D-Day is used routinely in military lingo for the day an operation or event will take place. For many, it's also synonymous with June 6, 1944, the day that the Allied powers crossed the English Channel and landed on the beaches of Normandy, France, beginning the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control during World War II. Within 3 months, the northern part of France would be freed and the invasion force would be prepared to enter Germany, where they'd meet up with the Soviet forces moving in from the east. And of course, less than a year later, it was all over. Didn't take long once they got started, but always be a day when a lot of people gave their all for us to have our freedoms. And that's all I got to say about that. I don't think there's much more to pontificate about. Of course, I think it's Ambril, isn't it? AMBRIL. BA is got the loser horn of the day. It came out with earnings after the bell last night. It's been down anywhere from 12 to 15% today. Now, this blew through all the previous lows. A major supplier for video chips for GoPros, it's been coming back for a while. The real blowout here today was that they were supposed to start selling a lot of chips for self-driving cars. Well, that didn't quite match up with reality. And the real reality is in the stock price down to 42.40 today as it blew through the lows. This thing had a nice consolidation on the side, on the sideways side. Last time it got up to 55.50, saw a massive blowout to the downside on about 4.1 million shares. That was back on the 17th of May. And it just kind of went and drifted lower and sideways since then. But a pretty nice blowout of all those. And you can make a fairly decent case that this isn't going to stop till it gets to $40.06, which is the September 6, 2017 low. That had 2.57 million shares. My guess is it will not stop there either. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can put an email to me at path@tfnn.com. And of course, you can also put a message in the den. So here is, as promised, one of the scariest charts in the market. This is the QQQ. And when we look at this, there are several things to look at. The first one is the previous high at 174.93. That's the March 13th high of this year. That had 55.6 million shares. Yesterday, we got into that with less than half. This is like testing a previous high in an individual equity on 25% of the volume of the previous high. It's not just a little less. It's not just that volume sometimes matters and doesn't. This is a major signal. Now, let's go take a look at the power vector, or I can't even talk today. The power vector, I can't even say it. Anyway, look at my numbers. Down on 15 from that previous high on March 13th, back up on 11. So we're off by a good 40% of the energy on the way back up on my power law vector indicator. You can say it now. And back up to the high. We've tested the high. We've got a doji yesterday, a doji today. So you've got no volume at the highs. And I mean, not just a little lighter volume. We've got volume that a blind man could see the difference in up here at the highs. And this isn't kind of, it's a little bit of light. This is the kind of volume that you see massive moves off of. And along with the weakest down to up leg in recent memory on the QQQs too. So if you're looking for much out of the NASDAQ, this is one of the scariest ETFs, at least in the chart, that there is. You may make a case that this is not going down, but I'm making a better case that it's not going higher. Say it 3 times slowly. Power law, vector indicator, power law, vector indicator, power law, vector indicator. I said it 3 times fast, just to be my own man. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back and just watch and see if anything else is going on here. Pretty much same spot we are at, 2762 on the S&P cash as we speak. Yandex, the internet company in Russia, gapped down back here on the, April 9th. 15 million shares, got into it yesterday with 3.6 million shares, got about 1 million shares today. This one doesn't look like any kind of recovery is coming anytime soon. Other distressed internet companies are Facebook. This has been down about $3 most of the day. It retested, as we said yesterday, or was testing the 195 high of February 1st of this year that had 54 million shares, with 15 million shares yesterday. So not much of a push back in there. Another one of these charts that has a fairly, let's even turn this down a little bit more. It had massive down energy back here on March 12th, from that high back down to the spike low of March 26th. It's made its way back up here. But of course, revelations today about Facebook selling their data to everybody. I don't know why the Russians needed to hack us. They could have just probably been cheaper just to go to Facebook and buy the data. They were selling it to the Chinese who would say that they didn't sell it to the Russians. Maybe they didn't have to. Maybe this is all made up and just to cover up Facebook selling their data to everyone, because that's all that would have had to happen. Any political candidate, I guess, could have gone to China and got the data that Facebook had. Anyway, that's not it. The reality here is that Facebook CEO pretty much lied to Congress, lied to the EU folks, and he'll probably, there's probably something that he was coached on to tell by his lawyers that he thinks he can skip out on. But I think it's the jury of public opinion that will be more interested in what goes in on Facebook. The thing is that they won't be able to sell this anymore, and therefore the the revenues in the future will probably be lower, at least in the short term, let's say in the next 6 months to a year. Not only that, but Facebook and others of its ilk, I don't get to say ilk enough these days, is facing new regulation, not just the old regulation that we saw that take effect on May 25th, but even newer regulations that will be much more taxative. Is that a word? Taxative? I made it up today. If it's not, I'll put it in the Urban Dictionary. But Facebook, you got it right there. It is hit its high. It's done so on a third of the volume. A third? That's not even it. Less than a third of its previous high. The energy wasn't all that exciting for one, except for one gap up. And the future looks like a lot of taxes in the future, regulation, and maybe, probably not here in the United States, but I would imagine in Europe, they may go after him for lying to them in the EU, although his questions were asked or answered fairly broadly. And I don't think he's silly enough to go back over there anytime soon to get the handcuffs put on. I don't know if they have lies. Can you lie to everybody over in Europe? They're regulators. There's no law against that. Don't know. But certainly, I suspect that we're going to see a lot of new laws. Those laws, by the way, are already making its way through the EU, and we might actually hear about them in the next 2 weeks. Not a mystery to anybody that reads anything about what's going on in Europe on Wall Street. So did they just push it back up here to try to distribute as much shares as they can? These things look like they have a lot of potential weakness. Maybe it doesn't come along. I certainly wouldn't be long these. I mean, if you just looked at the chart out here, I think you can make an excellent case that Facebook is coming back down to the 165 to 160 area. This giant gap on the way back up had some decent volume at 77.5 million shares. So that starts at 170-ish, 171, 172. I think you can make a fairly decent case and probably even a best case scenario that this gets back down to 172 before the end of the summer. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Let's take a look at some other things going on out here. Well, some interesting stocks. Another one that was getting hit today. Oh, I was looking at this one. We'll go to the next one after this. To Ballard Power. If you're looking for some penny stocks, if I really thought the market was going higher, this would be the one I'd be all over. BLDP. This is making a beautiful low around this $3 range, actually $2.90, $2.91. You had 10 million shares. You got into it with less than 10% of that a couple of days ago, and it's just kind of going sideways. Actually, a fairly good-looking chart. Nice light retrace from that February 28th high and gap down lower. It's moved back down. And this one's got kind of a history of looking like a heartbeat if you looked on it like a 5-year chart. But I don't see the wisdom of going that way. The reason is the stock we brought up yesterday, SLR, that's what it is, isn't it? For solar, continues down. We talked about this thing blowing through all the lows yesterday, and it is continuing today. It got down to this gap up, which is the first sign of support that had 15.8 million shares. That was back on October 27th of 2017, 15.8 million shares. You got into it with about half. So basically you're at the point now where you're starting to get a little bit of support. If you were real lucky, this thing did kind of base out for a while. You'd probably want to see if this thing was available at $50. This did one of these stocks that I don't think is going to go higher, even if it does find a low. It may bounce up to 60 or 62 and then start an ABC, a bigger ABC on the way down. The reason why is this thing took off on that gap was an announced tariff on all the dumping from China. China has been trying to figure out how they can corner the market on solar cells. And if you're unfamiliar with it, they're actually trying to corner the market on TVs. There used to be only a couple of different companies that actually made any TVs. I think Samsung, Sanyo, and Vizio. Most of them just buy parts from other ones and put the TVs together. Most of the parts are made by the same. But there's a company now, and it's now the biggest selling, I think it's the biggest selling TV on Amazon. And we'll talk about that when we come back. You got plenty of time to give me a ring, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Somebody asked me to look at Cron, a weed stock. Yeah, probably going to go test 94. Or, 794. Just, these light volume stocks, or these penny things, they have a lot of move. The one I was kind of interested in the low dollar stocks was DDD. Made a fairly interesting test yesterday. So I wanted to see how it was doing today. Went up on some fairly decent volume compared to the days before, but not enough. It had about 5 million shares yesterday into the 8.15 million shares on March 15th. You got a doji out here today. So again, a lot of these stocks we're probably going to know tomorrow, because this is either probably the halfway move up in 3D systems, or a top, and that you're probably going to come back down to the $11 range, maybe $11.50, and maybe that's the place to pick it up again. But again, most of these stocks, when you look at the individual stocks, have made some fairly light volume retraces. When we look at this is the kind of stocks that I'm kind of saying that are a little scary. FCX, this came down on heavy volume on 77.5 million shares back on the 24th of April. Did so convincingly, and an all-in-one day, got down 1464. It's back up pretty close to that high, but you got a little over 11 million shares compared to that 77.5 million share high on the way back up. So, could it go higher? Yeah, it could get to 1850. Copper was doing pretty good today, but as a chart pattern, extremely ugly. So we'll look at that. FISV, which is a fifth serve. We're talking about this one starting to break above previous highs. It needed 3 million shares. We've got 1.6 million shares so far today. Yesterday, you had 1.7 million shares. So a little bit more volume than yesterday, but not enough to beat that 3 million shares from March 16th. Five, which is it's like a dollar store, except everything's $5. Has broken through its previous highs. I don't use weeklies. It doesn't really matter to me. Question is, can you change your time frame, fair volume on DDD? Don't really matter. All I care about is the low to the high, and that's what the power law vector indicator is all about. If that low came in on Monday or Friday, that could really mess up what was volume for that week. You don't know. It basically could be $5 or 5 days off either way, or 4 days off either way. This way, all I do is look from where it bottomed out to it went to the high, whether it's weekly or daily or whatever. And then my power law vector indicator shows me the rest. So yeah, DDD, nice stock, probably just needs to pull back and get a little bit of rest, as far as I think. Of course, we bought it, what was it, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, back when it was testing $9. So I've already made my money on it, and the rest, I'll let everybody else fight over it now. So, okay. What else? We did fish for, we did 5. Let's do GNC. Again, there's some stocks out here that if we were making some kind of low in the market, or I thought we were going much higher, would be very interesting to me. GNC Holdings is one of those. This May 9th low at $3.08 was spiked yesterday. That had 5 million shares with 3.4 million shares. It's back into the trading range now. Is it the best looking chart in the world? No, but there aren't a lot of stocks that are at lows with any kind of lower volume. Most of them are doing the First Solar kind of thing, where they're just blowing through lows. And IVW, which is the iShares S&P 500 Growth Index, it's high on March 13th, 166.04, and that had 612,000 shares yesterday, 490,000 shares as we broke through today and went 50 cents higher, 306,000 shares so far. So we're going to need some volume in some of those to confirm even getting the same kind of volume at previous highs. We're getting kind of close in some of these rail stocks. Louisiana Pacific Corporation, LPX, was coming back up, and you had at 1.7 million shares on April 13th. Yesterday, you got into that candle just a little bit on 1.3 million shares. Just rotated back a little bit. We already talked about the Qs and them testing the volume on half of the previous high, less than half actually. So I don't know. We need to go back through that. Ritchie Brothers auction. This one watching the last few days. Fairly light volume. In fact, very light volume today. 158,000 shares. 159,000 shares. It broke above this May 10th high and has no sign of strength yet. So that's on my naughty list. Okay. This one I don't know a lot about. Let's go ahead and find out more about it. TTOO, T2 Biosystems. Let's get the profile on this. Okay. An in vitro diagnostic company develops products, proves magnetic resonance imaging platform, enables detection of pathogens, biomarkers, and other abnormal. Okay. Lyme disease. Man, sputum, saliva. They got a lot of horrible words in what these guys do. I wouldn't want to be around any of it. Be nice if I was sick. But these guys sound like they got everything, including the plague, when you read about it. But I was watching this one, 1.9 million shares. This is a $9 stock, May 29th. This one kind of went a little bit above this yesterday, right back into the trading range. 1.9 million shares compared to 1.3 million shares. And what else do we have out here? Travel Worldwide TV, TP, going against its $17.99 high, which is the May 3rd high, with just over 1 million shares. You've been well underneath that. Today, just 312,000 shares. So what are we going to do? Just go sideways for the next week or so, or go lower? I don't think that there's a lot out here that I could show you that I think sets up anything other than that. All these internet stocks have some significant things to worry about, like Facebook. Google is in that same kind of problem. The energy off this May 3rd low has not been anything. In fact, it is only about 65% of the big move down from March 12th high down to the March 28th low. So we've got a very kind of, you had a couple of heavy days out here, but that's been about it. Now you're back up to these previous highs with no volume. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And question about looking at Tesla. As I said, the problem with Tesla is everybody knows that it's going to sub 100 or sub 50. The question is when. And of course, when you're 35% short, it is kind of tough to be in one of these stocks because all it takes is one good whiff of any kind of good news and you get a bunch of people. Shorts tend to be the weakest hands in the crowd. And of course, you're going to have a bunch of people that are weak hands. And once they start to cover, that means the rest of them have to cover. And it just snowballs. That's what we're seeing in Tesla today. Has anything changed in Tesla in the last year really that matters? And the answer is no. The reality is that they have to raise maybe $20 or $30 billion just so that they can make the cars that they say make a bunch of money, which by the time that they get to that point will be back down to the 6 to 8% margins that every other car company comes out with. I don't know how you think that these guys make a car cheaper than anybody else. They may be able to make it better. There were a lot of people putting out some self-serving stuff fairly recently about the cost of the car. And the only thing I can tell you is that there's 107 new electric vehicles that are going to be on the road in the next 2 years. The amount of competition is going to be massive. And my guess is that Tesla will have invested a lot of money to not have 25% margins as they state that they do now, which is not true. Tesla had something that really made them look good early in the ballgame, and that was being able to buy a Toyota plant that had closed and left California. They got great deals from everybody in California to open it back up on taxes. And of course, that couldn't be duplicated because once you start making money, you're in California, they're going to tax you. They're going to come for that money. So they moved to Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas, built their big plant, got a lot of tax incentives. The problem is they paid, $5.8 billion for that plant? Even if they're making 5,000 cars a week, as Mr. Musk says he does say, you got to amortize that probably $20 billion in infrastructure and how long it takes to make that back. Existing car companies have had a long time to figure out how to do that and scale it and make money at 6 to 8% margin, as most companies do. Tesla, my guess will be its downfall will be when those margins do get hit across the next 2 years. What you want this thing to do is go up until the shorts quit shorting and then probably pull the trigger. It may take a couple of times, but I would say just about with a 95% probability that in the next 2 years, you're going to see this stock at about 45 or 50. Maybe it's less than 100, but it's going to be probably somewhere in that range. And that's going to be when everybody figures out that making cars isn't like making software. It's not a license to print money, nor is this battery installation, where maybe he thinks he's going to make all this money. There's no magic in what he does, and that's the problem. There are no moats to keep other people out. And with a lot of different people making fairly decent electric cars, including General Motors now, the new Volt is a fairly interesting car for $35,000 minus any kind of the deductions you get from the government for buying one. So a pretty interesting thing. What else do we have? Okay. Wanted to look at a couple other ones. Just take a look at Microsoft, MSFT. Up on just a tiny bit, man. Talk about light volume compared to yesterday. 23.5 million shares yesterday, let's call it 12 million shares today. So we're only at about 50% the volume on Microsoft today. Probably going to get a pullback to 100 if you were looking to go long this thing. I don't know if I would, but my guess is it would come back to 100. Someone's going to take some money. Let's take a look at some other ones. Apple was lower in the early part of the day. This one continues to have kind of an interesting story in that they keep moving the price of this stock higher, and each week we find out they're selling less and less iPhones, which is right. Are they selling less iPhones, or is the stock really just worth more from some unknown reason that I can't find out? I could see it, just holding steady in the 180s or something, but going up another 15 bucks, kind of interesting. Anyway, no volume again today. 13 million shares compared to 21 or 21.5 million shares yesterday. You can say pretty much all these are kind of. It may, Mr. Fletch, it may, but I think it comes back to 100 first. Still one of the best companies out there. Microsoft we're talking about. Apple, I just don't understand it. These guys certainly are putting a lot of money into building products and holding up their margin. It just, other than share buybacks, I don't know what there is in this one. I don't see a lot of profit in it. Got a question about Netflix, NFLX. This one's got a little bit of a pullback today. All these internet companies are fairly weak over the last couple of days. This one went to did it get to a higher high? I don't think so. What was the high here today? 369.68. 369.83. Yeah. 68. Yeah. A couple pennies of the high from yesterday. Not a lot of juice in this one. 4.8 million shares compared to 8.3 million shares. So that's kind of telling you everything that's going on in the market. And that is that most of these leaders are probably going to take a breath at the best and a pullback at worst. So you want to be watching that. Let's see what else is going on. Question about BABA again. We'll take a look at that. BABA is pulling back on a little bit of not as bad. Went to a new high yesterday, as we said, but there's nobody really adding to the volume going up. You had 19 million shares 2 days ago, 17.7 million shares yesterday. Today, 11 million shares. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. This is options expiration day, so we'll probably expect a little bit more of something tomorrow in the way of volatility. I suspect we're going to pull back a little bit, and that is going to tell us whether there's any strength in this market or if we're just going to continue going higher. So we'll keep an eye on that. What else? AMD popped a little. We'll talk about that when we come back. And that'll be it. The end of the show. Be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And I had a question to take a look at Intel and what I think is going on this one. I think it's coming back down to about $50. Got to 57.60 2 days ago. There just hadn't been a lot of volume. Went sideways for a while. I had one day that didn't have a lot of volume on the way up. That was on the first. Did so on 32 million shares, let's call it that. Then it's just kind of been going back here on light volume. 13 million shares today. I just don't see any real push in Intel through the rest of the summer. And you know what? If I wanted to buy it, I would pray that it got back down to $50, where I had a possibility of going after this stock again. And let's see if we have anything else in the basket here. I think it got to everybody's stock. Is there anything else I had that someone ask me about. We talked about the TLT today. I think that was one I forgot to get to. Pretty interesting action, a lot of gaps in the TLT. Of course, the gap down today, not a lot of juice, which is kind of interesting. This thing had a big run up, got a lot of people on the wrong side of it, and it's pulling back down. I would suspect, I'll get a little bit better look at this thing. I would suspect that you're at least at support around this 118 area. You don't have a lot of juice, but I don't know. I would still think that you had really a exhaustion move up here on May 29th, and this thing just looks like it's in a big trading range. You probably should look for a retest of the 115.81, which is that May 17th low. Other than that, that's it. Anyway, we'll be watching the next couple of days feverishly. Is this market going higher or lower? Well, it's probably going to do that in the next day or two, probably tomorrow, actually. So in the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.